Today on Faith Matters, another in our Someone You Should Know series. This week, Paul Peterson. I'm Seth Weber, and you're listening to Faith Matters, a podcast designed to help you think biblically in matters of the Christian faith and keep you updated on matters of Faith Bible Church. Today we have with us Paul Peterson. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Tell me about where you grew up, your hometown, your history.
I was actually born in Mississippi. My dad was a park ranger there. And when I was about 2, we moved up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And I went through all of my schooling there, went to college there, got an engineering degree.
Wow.
And graduated college. I went in the Navy and spent 4 years in San Diego in the Navy and decided I wanted to be a fireman instead. So I started looking for firefighter jobs. My brother had flown tankers here at Fairchild, so I saw that Spokane was hiring.
Okay.
Came up here to test, got a job.
Wow.
Moved up here in February of 99 and started my career with Spokane Fire Department in March of 99.
Wow. So we'll jump back to your growing up a little bit, but were you married by the time you moved up here to Spokane?
No, I was single.
Okay, so you met Crystal here in Spokane.
Met her actually through the church.
Okay.
Yep. We
All
met
right.
in spring of 01 and married in December of 01.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Let's jump back to your growing up years. Do you have any fun stories of when you were growing up as a kid or your time in the Navy?
My growing up, my dad was a park ranger. There's a small park in my hometown called Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore.
Okay.
And fabulous beaches right on Lake Superior. And we grew
fun.
up about 100 yards from an incredible beach.
Wow.
And so in the summer, we lived at the beach and we swam in Lake Superior pretty
Nice.
much every single day. So.
That's cool.
And I would put those beaches up against any Caribbean beach or Florida Panhandle, any of those, and I've seen some of those, and I think our Michigan beaches are wonderful.
Nice. Is the water fairly warm?
No.
No.
Water's cold all the time. It gets to be bearable maybe by the middle of August or so. But yeah, there's always a chill in the water.
Gotcha.
But it's clean and clear.
Nice.
And yeah, a great place to grow up.
Very fun. All right, so jumping back forward to family, can you tell us about how you met Crystal and who's in your family now?
So Crystal and I met at the young adults, maybe unofficial singles group. It was through Dan and Aurelia Autry, who used to attend here.
Okay.
And they actually ended up doing our premarital counseling, but they hosted a young adults group, and they were great mentors to a lot of the folks in that age group. So we met through them, and to this day have a dear friendship with them. I think that was March or April of 01, and we were engaged, I think, in July, married in December. And then we have 3 kids. Will is 20, Mia is 18, and Sawyer is 17. So Will's a sophomore at Whitworth. Mia is working at TJ Maxx, and
Nice.
Sawyer is a junior at Mount Spokane High School.
Okay. So were you guys at Faith Bible Church the entire time since you moved up here and met Crystal up until now?
We were, yeah.
Okay.
I started just a few months after I moved to Spokane.
Okay.
Coming to Faith. There was a coworker of mine with the fire department that had lived here prior, and he and I were talking. He found out that I was looking for a church, and he said, well, you should try Faith. He attended here.
Okay.
Crystal's parents were coming here, and then when she moved here from Billings, she kind of came here by default because
Nice.
her parents were here. So we've been here through that entire time. Interestingly, we pretty early on when we were married, we had both been to Faith individually, but we hadn't really church shopped. I guess maybe that's not the right word for
Sure.
it, but as a couple. And so we did visit a few other churches, and it was pretty clear early on that Faith was where we wanted to be.
Nice.
Bible-believing church, Bible-preaching church. I grew up in a really small town with not really much of a youth group, and Crystal grew up in churches that had a very active youth group. And so that was something that we wanted for our kids to grow up in a church that really put a lot of time and energy into the youth. And we've seen our kids flourish in that here. So
thankful for all those youth leaders.
Yes. And it's been a great fit for us.
Nice. Okay. Jumping back again, can you tell us how you came to know Jesus as your Lord and Savior?
My parents were saved when I was a baby or a toddler. It was right before we moved to Michigan.
Okay.
And so I was raised in a church, a small church. I don't know that I really had much of a personal relationship with Christ early on, but I was baptized in Lake Superior when I was probably in junior high.
Okay.
But when I got away to college and got to a little bit of a bigger town, got to choose a church that I wanted to go to and got more involved there, and actually lived at a house with a bunch of Christian guys. I think that was where I kind of started to flourish a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then that continued when I was in the Navy. I went to a Calvary Chapel down in North San Diego County, and was quite involved and really saw the other young men and women there that were pursuing Christ on their own, kind of apart from any family environment that they had grown up in. So I'd say I started in college, continued in the Navy, and then has continued up here as well.
Gotcha. One of those gradual process kind of things.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. So now that you're here at Faith, tell me about how you've been involved over the years and what you're doing now.
So Crystal and I taught Sunday school for several years. We taught 4s and 5s. And then we spent probably about 8 years working with Denny and Annie Myers teaching the marriage class.
Oh, okay.
And got to know a lot of the couples, some engaged couples, but a lot of couples that came through, and some that had kids our age that then we've seen their kids grow up through that age group. So we taught with them for several years, and we are currently helping the Rainbows with the finance ministry. We just taught our first finance class in March. And I am the deacon working with the Care Fund. So I work with Mark, Frankian, and Toby on the Care Fund administration as well.
Nice. So if someone has a request, you're part of helping decide whether that's like something that the church will be able to help with or something like that?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And Crystal just got accepted into the Aspiring Women program. So she's going to be starting in just a couple of weeks.
Awesome. Very cool. What has God been teaching you lately?
I think something that is ongoing with Crystal and I is just working on me being the leader in that marriage relationship and focusing on time together. I was actually at the elders meeting last night, and I was talking to another one of the deacons there, and he was saying that things are great with his marriage and things are great with his personal walk with God. And I think it's no coincidence that those two fall right in place together because they're very dependent on each other. And so really focusing on being consistent, being strong with my devotional time and with my own personal walk, and then how that translates into my marriage. We do some mentoring with other couples, and so seeing how we can really be unified as a couple, and then hopefully pass on some little tidbits to other folks as well.
Nice. How can the church be praying for you right now?
We see a lot of Care Fund requests come in, so I think just wisdom in how we utilize that money that people are generously giving. We have needs within the church and other people outside the church, refugees, and there's a lot of need, and wanting to be wise with the money that comes into the Care Fund. So I think as we look at each one of those requests on a case-by-case basis, just that we would be diligent in looking into those and praying and discussing on how to distribute the Care Fund money.
Very good. All right, now we're going to jump into the speed round.
Speed round.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Pineapple on pizza?
Yes.
Pets.
We have one, but we probably won't have another one after she dies. We've got the perfect dog, so I don't think we can top her.
Okay. Favorite band?
I like a lot of U2 stuff.
Oh, yeah, U2's good.
Maybe U2.
Nice. Best surprise gift you've ever gotten?
For a birthday several years ago, Crystal, and it was kind of expensive, so I think she pooled money from a bunch of different people, but they got me an afternoon of race car driving out at the Speedway at Post Falls.
Oh, that's fun.
It was super fun.
That's awesome.
I think we're all a closet race car driver.
Yes, for sure.
Yes.
If you didn't have to sleep, what would you do with all the extra time?
I like just being outside, piddling around. I like spending time in the shop. I like building stuff. I like being active with my hands.
Okay, favorite place to eat out in Spokane?
Wild Sage. Wild Sage. We've never had a bad meal there.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Paul.
You're welcome. Thanks, Seth.